Charlie Lincoln.
Principal Toiku, faculty and staff of Harmony School of Innovation Dallas, proud parents and of all graduates, hello members of the class of 2023. It's an honor to be here to congratulate you on this important marker in your lives. I'd sincerely like to thank the administration of the school and Mr. Toiku for inviting me to speak here today. It's likely that all of you will remember in some way today in your high school graduation, even if you don't remember this speech. In fact, I do not remember the speech that I had at my high school graduation, and I don't even know if there's a recording of it. So with that, I hope to at least make this a short speech. I'd like to share a little bit of my background as a student when I went to Harmony Science Academy in Austin. Indeed, Mr. Toiku, as I knew him then, now Principal Toiku, has known me for years. I think since late middle school, when he came to Harmony campus for the first time. He knew me there through the time when I graduated in 2010. That was a while ago, but the years at Harmony from 2004, when I was in 6th grade, all the way to 12th grade, graduation in 2010, were one of the most formative years in my life, and I still think of them from time to time. I think it's fair to say that undeniably everyone who gets the care and education from Harmony likewise has such an influence. Regarding the passage of time, it's interesting to consider how we mark it. When I graduated in 2010, I believe most of you and the graduates here were in kindergarten. It's interesting to think about where those adults who were in 12th grade when I was in kindergarten, but consider that you too, at some point, will be at this point in time where you may be giving advice to folks who are now in kindergarten. With respects to the passage of time, all I'd like to do in this speech is to urge you to embrace the new chapter of life. The former chapter for you has been completed. High school is done. You stand at the door of the next chapter. And I'd like to share a little bit of advice as a fellow Harmony grad. So here are a few stories. Research shows that most high school commencement speeches give an anecdote or a story. As a now professional researcher, I found quite a few of these anecdotes and stories, watching many commencement speeches and graduation speeches from colleges and high school online. Rather than sharing one, I'd like to share my few of the favorites that I discovered. The first is from the University of Texas commencement speech in 2014, from a former Navy SEAL and admiral in the U.S. Navy. He urged graduates to consider the lessons from former Navy SEALs, such as making your bed in the morning to achieve something tangible right at the beginning of your day, keeping up hope, never giving up, and realizing that if you influence the 10 people in your life, and those people influence 10 people in their lives, then you'll directly influence or indirectly influence 100 people. And that doesn't count how many people down the chain you might influence. So those types of influences are usually small, but allow for the winning of small advancements in life. The second one I enjoyed was from Wesley High School in 2010. The title of the speech, ironically, to the high school graduates was, "You Are Not Special." At first, the speaker said how many high school graduates there are in the United States, how many things the students have identical, including the gowns that everyone's wearing. He used other logical syllogisms such as, if everyone has the same award, then the award becomes meaningless. But that's just one perspective. The idea is that there's a commonality that high school graduates all share. A high school diploma is something that can't be taken from you. As you go forward, remember how much you have in common with each other, other high school graduates, here and throughout the United States and even the world. So don't listen to the idea that commonality is bad necessarily. In fact, it means you have common ground with many other people. The third speech that really affected me was one from Conan O'Brien, who at one time was one of the most famous comedians in the world, for a speech he gave to Dartmouth University's commencement address in 2011. He said to embrace the comedy of life and the sting of failures that may come from it. Conan thought he had a dream job for years, to be the best slot on primetime comedy TV. But then it was taken from him. And in that year, after losing what he had dreamt about for 20 years, he had the most unique and happiest time of his life. The lesson realized that failure stings, but can sometimes lead to the reinvention of the self. Your dreams may change, and probably will change. Those are worthwhile dreams to pursue. But remember, even if you don't achieve them, you change and your dreams change too. The fourth is Steve Jobs, the former CEO and founder of Apple, who gave an incredible 2005 Stanford commencement address. Jobs said that you sometimes can't connect the dots together until years after you realize they have a connection. So sometimes experimenting with classes that aren't practical can have the most practical effects. He said that he took a calligraphy class in college that many thought was impractical and urged him against taking. But later on, the lessons from that class ended up being the basis of the typography that all Apple computers use. Embracing failure and keeping on going, even when the curveballs come in life, is absolutely important. He also said, if you don't like what you're doing too many days in a row, you need to make a change. Today you're the new and the hopeful, but in the coming years you will not be the new. So make sure to make the most of what you have with the time that's ahead of you and before you. As Steve Jobs said, your time is limited. Don't waste it living someone else's life. The last and fifth one is David Foster Wallace, an author of what many call the great American novel, Infinite Jest. Wallace gave a speech titled, This is Water, in his 2005 commencement speech to Kenyon College in Ohio. Wallace gives a story. Two fish are swimming and they see a third fish. The third fish passes by and asks, how's the water? One of the initial fish turns to the other initial fish and asks, what the heck is water? The water is all around you. This is the metaphor for using your minds to think and see what is around us and obvious. This is perhaps the favorite one that I found of all these speeches. So what's the common theme in these speeches? I would argue that the theme is that we're not the center of the world. Despite our perception telling us that our collection of experiences and friends and family show us that we might actually be the center of the world. Indeed, on a comedic note, astrophysicists say there is no center of the world, so it can't be anyone here or anywhere else. And another common theme, I would say, is capture the day as much as you can. Remember to be in the moment, not just to receive an accomplishment or to achieve something. In other words, follow the frequently quoted but true cliche that the journey matters and the events that come along in that journey. Those are my favorites. But here are the lessons that I learned in life that are so general that I think can apply to any situation. First, I'd like to talk about the value of education. Nelson Mandela was known to say in various ways, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. He was right. Education, from what you learn from experience, reading, learning of any sort, is the way that you can help in life and help yourself and help others. It can be immensely powerful, from helping you program a computer, figure out a logical puzzle, fix a car, help you fix a personal smartphone issue problem, to solving intense engineering issues that face humanity, or understanding humanity through poetry and literature. The only way to encounter all these practical problems is through education, whether formal or informal, whether it's reading a textbook, reading a manual, or reading instructions of any sort. The more you do this, and the more you continue to educate yourself, the easier the activity will be, and the more free time you'll have. As I mentioned, I started in 6th grade with Harmony. I stayed there all the way to graduation in 12th grade. I've even been told that some of you have been with Harmony since elementary school. It was an incredible journey. During that time, we grew as humans perhaps more than any other time period in our lives of that length. Harmony has invested you with a wealth of information from history, science, English literature, writing, language skills, mathematics, as well as tools and critical thinking for engaging with new materials. In the next steps in chapter of life, you're going to realize that these are the building blocks to go forward. The poet William Butler Yeats put it this way: education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. Just in the same way you thought that 6th grade math or history was easy compared to what you were expected to do in high school, so too will high school learning compared to what lies ahead. So take the tools you have to improve on the road ahead. Likewise, embrace what lies ahead, but remember Harmony will be here. Many of my classmates graduated high school, went to college, experimented with careers and various aspects of life, but they kept in contact with Harmony. At one point, several of them returned to Harmony to work full-time. I myself enjoy coming back on occasions to volunteer as well. Here's a piece of advice. I would say stay in contact with your mentors and the staff that you know at Harmony. These contacts could even be recommendation letters in the future. You never know if you might want to return to teaching or be part of the school in some way, such as volunteering. It will bring fulfillment and a potential network as you go ahead in the world. Likewise, when you enter this next stage, I encourage you to build healthy and positive relationships with the future teachers, classmates, and school staff that you will meet in this new chapter in life, as those relationships can have a significant impact on your academic and personal growth. For me, Harmony fostered character development and skills through various extracurricular activities, clubs, and volunteer opportunities. Whether you engaged in a lot of activities or stayed singular with academics, you and Harmony as a whole were able to grow and foster your character. David Foster Wallace, in his commencement speech that I mentioned, said that life on the other side isn't so different. In a work environment, you still have some semblance of a dress code. There will be places you need to be at certain times. There may even be monotony. It's a life, whether it's waiting in traffic or getting groceries. So take even those opportunities to grow as much as you can. In conclusion, I encourage you to do your best, embrace failure, and remember to be kind to everyone. Attempt to treat everyone with the respect needed in that moment. I have no doubt you're well prepared for the future. Much of it is up to you, but always remember to ask for help if you need it. Congratulations to the class of 2023 Harmony Science School of Innovation, Dallas.